Musical Talk, the UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Burlesque has sort of entered the stream of consciousness within the British public. We had a show at the Garrick Theatre called the Hurly-Burly
Girls, yes.
And Brothers of Cherbourg had a burlesque girl in it as well.
Yes, but at no point did she ever do any striptease. At no point did she... I think you can get blinded by the fact that that's what it is. And I think people can rely on that a bit too much just to make an act good. We
were chatting about it earlier and you said, was it Rita Hayworth who...
Yeah, exactly. Rita Hayworth, there's this bit of film footage where she's singing this song and she removes one glove and they all go crazy because it's the way in which she removes it. It's the rapport with the audience. It's the eye contact going, this is what I'm about to do. Shall I do it? And the audience going, oh, yes, please do. And her going, oh, well, maybe I shall. And that bantering, that contract, will I do it? Will I not do it? And then the glove comes off. Oh, my God, crazy. If you just go on stage and take all your clothes off, you might as well be jumping in the sea. And it's absolutely not sexy at all. It's not tease at all. It's not fun to watch. It just removes the entire point. I think if you were going to create a burlesque act, what your main concern has got to be, what am I showing the audience, and in what way do they view that? You know, how do I play with that tease? How do I play with what they think is? How do I subvert what they think is about to happen? Because a lot of what is out there it will have been done before. People have used feather fans. People use parasols. There's a million fire eaters out there. You know, popping your balloons. It's all been done. You can't go, I have a balloon popping act, therefore no one else can. I would never go, oh my God, there's someone fire eating, they've stolen my act, because you can't claim that. What you claim is the idea and the way you perform it and the way you present it and your own little unique way of taking that and giving it a little spin, or giving it some flavour. I know some girls where their I say punchline, the end of the act is they get almost I'm going to show you nipple tassels, actually no I'm not, and they just walk off stage, and I think that's brilliant because it has become a bit of a ta-da, here's my breasts, or this is the punchline, and to subvert that I think is just comedy genius. I think that's what a lot of acts are missing, is this comedy element and how to take what is burlesque and then burlesque that further, subvert what is the notion of burlesque at the moment.
Wow. So tell us about your background and how did you find burlesque?
My background is that I have a very strong interest and enjoyment of costume, of making it, wearing it, and an enjoyment of costume and clothes that you would never really normally wear during the day in normal places.
That's where you go.
Yeah, and this idea, being an actor, at a very young age, I was dressing up as characters, as princesses. As a kid, I had, my mum used to do sort of costume design, and I had this dressing up box that had all these hooped skirts and little kind of, whatever different glittery bits and pieces of different things. So my mum made me this little mermaid's tail, and I wandered around in that for days and ends. So I had this real strong interest in costume and wearing costume, and then obviously I became an actor, and rather than sitting around waiting for the phone to ring offering you this dream part, I want to be a snow queen, or I want to be the Little Mermaid, whatever, burlesque has offered me this opportunity to just be those characters and experiment with those characters. And then my other background is performance art, so taking this, creation of theatre, getting a piece of music, putting something to it, using a lighting effect, and infusing that with this idea of lavish costuming, character, and bringing those two things together.
Music makes a very important part in this as well. I've
always said that if you pick the right music for your act, then you're pretty much halfway there, because whatever you physically do on stage, if you do it to a different piece of music, it can completely change the feel of it, the idea of it, the imagery you want to portray. And I think once you get a decent piece of music that really gets people, whenever you hear a piece of music, you're going to have an emotion or have a memory, and it really does speak to people. And if you're going for a comedy thing, then you get some from like childhood TV, then it kind of really sets that scene up. If you want a really serious, kind of gruesome, or you pick a piece of music and it will get to people, viscerally affect people. So before you come on stage, you could just wave at them and people go, wow, that's fantastic.
I mean, music's incredibly powerful, and the example I always use is that scene in Psycho where she's sat in the car.
Yes.
She's driving.
Yeah.
You could have any music behind that.
You could play that same bit of film footage to any other piece of music, and it would mean or say something different to that audience. If you can just have someone with a facial expression as neutral as possible some people go, wow, look at the acting in that actor, you know, look how frightened they look, or look how angry they look, or look how upset they are, just because of the piece of music that you listen to. So I think your piece of music has got to be so precise in your choice.
The piece of music you and I wrote for your Snow Queen act.
Yes, the Snow Queen act, which when I heard the final piece, I was just like, that is exactly what I had in my mind, but even better than I could imagine. And I was saying to you about having acts and taking acts further. You know, you start off with an idea, or with a costume, or with a concept. I would then find a piece of music to kind of go with that, which you then took further, as in, here's this music, but this is what I've now done with it. And I could then take that and then take the act I had originally even further than that. And it's just a nice collaboration of being... It's what I miss about working in a devised theatre company or working as a solo burlesque performer, is that I love that bouncing ideas off somebody else, because it really... You are limited when you're just yourself, and you're kind of stuck in this, oh, help, what am I doing? I know I need it to be like this, but I'm not quite sure how. And I love it when you have someone else to collaborate with, and you can kind of go, I want this.
It's the best feeling in the world.
It's brilliant, because you have this idea you can't quite touch on. They go, how about this? And you go, oh, that's exactly what I meant.
Or that's rubbish and do...
Yeah, or it turns out that you know that's exactly not what you want. And you go, I don't want that at all. I want the opposite of that, you know. It gives opportunity for an audience to come down and have a bit of escapism and a bit of fun, a bit of lightheartedness, you know, and escape the reality world of riots and wars and economic crisis, and to just come, rather than sit back and just be given a show, which you might have if you went and saw something sort of in the West End that gave you that escapism, say Wicked or something that's quite fantastical, and you know, it means you can actually get involved, and you do your shouting and your oohing and your ahhing and your heckling, and they, you know, you actually sort of interact with the performance on stage, and
it's a grown-up pantomime, I think.
Exactly. I really do view it as a grown-up pantomime, and it's an absolute opportunity to just kind of go, I'm going to wear that dress or that suit or that outfit that I never get to wear anywhere else, and let my hair down and have a good laugh, and not really worry whether I am a banker or a teacher or whatever I'm defined as in my day-to-day life. I'm not defined by that anymore. It's a real chance to go, I'm who I am inside, and I'm what I like, and I secretly like this type of music, or I secretly like this sort of costume, or I secretly, experience all your little inner kind of whimsies. But I think you said, I can't remember what you said about this woman said about burlesque is this peeling of layers, and I think that's a definite through line theme in most burlesque acts, is that you do start off with presenting one thing, and at the end of the act they become something else. Yeah. And whether you are removing a layer of clothing, it's removing a character, it's removing a sense, it's removing a conceived notion. So you will start off as, I always give the typical example, an uptight or shy, timid librarian with her glasses and her hair up, and and then she might read a dirty book or find it in the library, and take her glasses off, let her hair down, and suddenly become what she is inside. This sort of fiery, sexy woman of pleasure. And I think that's
Rocky Horror Show.
Exactly. This sort of feel of Rocky Horror Show that it gives, remove these outer layers and this outer clothing, this outer shell that you present to the world every day, and just be fully who you are inside without caring about the consequences. And without
you're basically you're playing someone else.
I'm allowing myself the opportunity to explore all these different characters that I could or would love to play. The high-powered Snow Queen, or the cute little cheesecake pink ballerina, or and just being able to explore those different characters and parts of that within myself is just I'm so lucky to be able to have the opportunity to do that,
So burlesque we'll leave it at this, but I will say, and I hope you'll agree, that burlesque is a very strong art form that's not quite understood for what it is. So I hope we've opened up the legs of burlesque.
We've spread the legs wide open.